Hi everyone, my name is Debbie. I'm a staff member at the Westerville Public Library, and I'm here today with a virtual class on the free version of Microsoft Word. To work along with me in this class, you'll need two things. First, you'll need the class handout that was emailed to you as an attachment. This is what the handout looks like, right there. And if for some reason you didn't get this handout, then what you can do is you can get in your email and email me at answers@westervillelibrary.org and ask for the handout, and I'll be glad to send you a copy of that. Okay? The other thing that you'll need for this class is a personal Microsoft sign-in. So you can log into Microsoft using either an Outlook email account, or you can use a Hotmail email account, or you can use an older personal Windows Live account if you have that from a while back. If you don't have any of those accounts, then at the end of the handout on the last page, I wrote directions for you onto how to create a free Outlook email account so that you can use this free software. So if you want to follow along and do the things as I'm doing them and you don't have one of those accounts, you can stop right now and you can create a free account, and then you can turn on the video again and you can keep working along with me. If you don't want to work with me right now and you just want to watch the video first and then maybe work on it again later, that's perfectly okay too, whatever you would like to do. So let's talk about those Microsoft sign-in credentials. You know that Microsoft is a huge company and it owns lots of software titles, lots of things. And three of the most popular software titles that Microsoft owns is their Word software, PowerPoint, and Excel. They also own all the Outlook email accounts. So if you have an email account that says at outlook.com, then you're already part of the Microsoft family and you can use this free software already. If you don't have an Outlook account, but you do have a Hotmail account, then that also is part of the Microsoft family because they bought all the Hotmail email accounts in 1996. So if you have an account that says at hotmail.com, then again, you can use the free version of Word. Now, when you belong to the Microsoft family, you have free things that you can use. One is access to a web-based version of Word, PowerPoint, and Excel. However, they do have limited tools. They don't have all the tools that the purchased version of Word has. And as we go through this class, I'm going to show you some of the things that are a little bit different from the purchased Word as opposed to the free web-based Word. Also, because it's web-based, you don't have to download anything onto your computer. There's no software. Everything is done online. So it's very easy to get to and easy to use. The other thing that you get for free is free cloud storage for all your documents and your pictures and your files. And Microsoft's cloud storage is called OneDrive, right here, OneDrive. And you get 5 gigabytes for free when you create an account with either Outlook or Hotmail. And you can purchase more, but honestly, 5 gigabytes is a lot of space. I really don't think you're going to need more for a long time. So if for some reason you see a screen on your computer that says, do you want to upgrade and purchase more memory or more OneDrive space, just say no. And then again, if you don't have either one of those, you're going to see these directions right here on the last page of your handout, and you can go ahead and create one of those. So on this class, we are going to talk about 7 things. We're going to talk about where to find this free software so that you know how to turn it on. Number 2, how to create a brand new document, which we're going to do, and we're going to pretend we're making a garage sale flyer for fun today. So that's what we're going to create. We are going to talk about how to format or change and edit some of the text on our document. We're going to learn how to add graphics or pictures to our document, jazz them up a little bit. We're going to talk about different saving options and locations so that you have your paper exactly where you need it to be. We're going to learn about how to open an existing document that's already started that you did previously that is sitting in OneDrive. And finally, how to print your Word document so that you have the paper in your hand as well as in the OneDrive account. Let's begin part 2 by talking about getting started and logging in. So the first thing you have to do is log into your email account. If you have an Outlook account, then all you have to do is go to outlook.com, put in your username and password, and you should get to your inbox. If you have a Hotmail account, then you should do the same thing, but go to hotmail.com and then sign in with your username and your password, and you will then again land in your inbox. I have a Hotmail account, so I'm going to do my examples with Hotmail. This is what my email account looks like when I log in. If you look right above your folders, you're going to see the word Outlook, and you're going to see 9 little white dots. Those little white dots are all the apps, the things that Microsoft gives their members free to use. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on those little white dots, and I can see lots of things that I can use for free. One of them is, sure enough, Microsoft Word. So I'm going to click on Word, and the next thing that comes up, it wants to know, well, what do you want to do? Do you want to start a new blank document? Yes, we do. So I'm going to push on this plus, click on this plus, and I'm going to start a brand new blank document. So at the top, you can see here that we're using Microsoft Word, that this is a document called Document right now. It doesn't have a name, and it's being saved to my OneDrive. Again, there's not even a save button. They automatically save these documents for you with into your OneDrive. So the first thing we want to do is to expand the top so that we can see all of our tools. And if you look right here, your little arrow may be pointing down like this. If it's pointing down, you need to click on that little arrow so that it points up, and then we can see all the tools that Microsoft Word lets us use. This entire gray and blue area is called the ribbon, and it contains various folders at the top of your paper. No. This entire top of this paper is called the ribbon, the blue and the gray area, and this is where the tools are located. The ribbon has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different tabs, and each tab has different tools. When you click on the tab, you'll see different tools. And so we're going to talk about the various tools that they have in those tabs and what will be helpful for you. So first of all is the File tab. So you can click on the File tab if you want to, if you're using a Word document, a free Word document, so that you can see what's happening. So the File tab lets you have saving and printing choices. This is, if you want to print your piece of paper, this is where you go, File, Print. If you want to save it somewhere else, you're going to say File, Save As. And we're going to talk about those options later. Right now, if you click on the left arrow, let me go back to File. If you click on this circle right here that has an arrow in it, click on that, it'll take you back to your piece of paper. All right, let's go to the next tab, which is the Home tab. This is the basic typing and formatting tools that you're going to need. Most often, you'll be here in the Home tab. I always tell people in my classes, if you get lost, be like Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz and go home. So this is where you're going to find that some of the tools in the purchased version of Word are missing from this free version. Some of the things are extra fonts you're not going to necessarily see. Some of the text effects might be missing. Custom line spacings will be missing. If you have words on a line and you try to tap your tab key, it's not going to work. different little things here that are a little bit different than the purchased version. Okay, the next tab is the Insert tab. This is my favorite tab because this is where you get to add pictures and symbols and little emojis to your piece of paper to make it jazzed up. Now, the difference is, again, online free Word doesn't let you do shapes, such as arrows and lines like the purchased version does, and it doesn't have smart art, which is the fancy lettering, and it doesn't have text wrap or allowing a graphic to freely move around a piece of paper so you can put it exactly where you want. You'll find when we do the graphics today that where the cursor is where the graphic will land, and it'll pretty much stay there. The next tab is the Layout tab. The Layout tab is where you can change your margins and the orientation of your paper. You remember that the orientation called landscape, your paper is laying this way. The orientation of portrait, sorry, portrait orientation means the paper is up and down, and that's the default. Most of the time you use a piece of paper with the sides being tall on the sides. So that's the Layout tab. Now, again, there are some differences from the purchased version. Free Word doesn't offer a choice to do columns on your paper. It doesn't have the page break tools. And again, I talk here on the PowerPoint that the tab key doesn't work if you have words on a line. If the line is blank, you can tab and then start the first word. But once you start a word, you can't tab anymore on the free version of Word. I don't know why they have it set up like that. I've seen a lot of complaints online about that. But just know that it's not your computer if you're trying to tab when you have words on the line. The next tabs are the Reference tab, the Review tab, the View tab, and the Help tab. And all four of those, we're not going to talk about those today. Those are much more advanced for people that are doing larger term papers or doing fancy things with their paper. And the Help tab honestly gives you a chance to connect with the Microsoft company and their tech support. And if you want to ask help for this with this free version of Word, and you tap on the Help tab and you try to get some help, believe me, you won't be talking to me. You're going to be talking to somebody on Microsoft. So I don't know about that one. I never use that one. So the last thing we're going to talk about now is renaming our document. So I'd like you to tap back to the Home tab. Okay? One more time, go back to your Home tab so that we're back to our piece of paper where we were to begin with. And we're going to rename your document so you can find it in the future. In the top blue bar, you can see the current name of this paper, which is probably says document. Here is the name of your document. And what I'd like you to do is click on that word document. And the file name you see is automatically filled in as document, but let's go ahead and change that. Let's change our document to the words practice paper. So I'm going to type practice paper. I still want it to be in OneDrive. I'm good with that, but I just want it to have the name practice paper. So once you write that in there, then you can click back to your piece of paper, which is right here. So I can see the blank white paper. And when you do, now you can see that practice paper is being saved to OneDrive. And we're going to investigate other places that you can save papers, but for right now, let's just keep it in our free OneDrive. Let's begin part 3 by adding some words or some text to our blank piece of paper. So on the first line of print, we're going to type big garage sale. We're going to press the enter key to get to a new line, and then we're going to type the words Westerville, Ohio. So this is going to be our garage sale flyer. So I'm going to do this along with you. I'm going to type big garage sale. I'm going to hit enter. And then I'm going to type Westerville, Ohio. And as you can see up here, there, as you type, Microsoft, the free version of Microsoft Word automatically saves things to you. There's no save button. You don't have to worry about saving at all. So now that we have those two lines of print, let's work on those a little bit. The first thing I'm going to do is I want to tell the computer that I want to center this entire title. So I'm going to take my mouse and I'm going to drag across the words Big Garage Sale, Westerville, Ohio, so that the whole thing is highlighted. That means it's selected. Now, the first thing I want to do is put these words in the center of my paper, since this is my title of my flyer. So right up here are your justification buttons. And this one right here is centering. And even if I just hold my mouse there, you can see it tells you the name of that button. So I'm going to click on align these two lines of print center. So I'm going to click on that. And sure enough, they shoot to the middle of my piece of paper. Now I'm done working on those. So I'm going to click away from, I want it to be, don't want it to be selected anymore. So I'm going to click after Ohio and the highlighting goes away. And then I'll hit enter one more time to get onto a nice clean line for printing something else. And I'm going to take that line back up here and tell it to continue now to left justify this paper. In other words, to write like Americans write from the left to the right. So I'm going to click on that. Now that I've done that, let's go ahead and write the words special items. We're going to have some special items in our garage sale. So I'm going to type special, items. And then I'm going to press the enter key again to get to a nice clean space. Okay, up above the justification buttons are bullets and numbering. I think for this activity, let's go ahead and bullet 3 things that we're going to have specially for sale on our garage sale. When you see these little tiny arrows, these little carrots that are pointing down, anytime you see those, that means there are more choices to this tool. This is the bullet tool. So I'm going to click on that little tiny arrow and I see all these different kind of bullets that I can make. I'm going to choose the check mark bullet for this activity. So go ahead and click on that little tiny down arrow and choose the check mark. When you do, you can see that the free word automatically starts your bulleted list. And today for our garage sale, we're going to sell a cat. I'm going to hit enter, a dog, enter, and a car. And notice I did not capitalize car, but when I hit enter, it capitalizes it for me, which is really nice. So go ahead and type those 3 words with the check marks. Now I'm done typing things on this list, so I want to turn off the bulleted list. I can do this one of 2 ways. I can either come back up here and see how this is gray. This means it's turned on. If I click on that tool that says bullets again, it turns it off and it's not gray anymore. All right. The other thing I can do to turn it off, if I don't want to come up here and click on that tool, all I have to do is hit enter one more time and it turns off the bulleting for me. All right, so let's talk about this list, and let's really jazz up this word special items. Oh, we want people to know what special items we have here. So again, let's drag across the word special items. You can either start from the S and go all the way to the end, or you can start at the end and drag across to the front, either way. But let's change the size. Right now we're typing in 11-point font, which is pretty small. Let's click on this little tiny down arrow and look at all the choices that we have. Let's go ahead and choose 24. Let's make this nice and big. Oh yeah. And before we get rid of the highlighting, let's also go ahead and choose a different font. The font that we're using right now by default is Calibri. But let's click on this little tiny arrow, down arrow, and you see other fonts that you can use. Now, again, this is something that Free Word does not have as many fonts as your computer probably does. So this is a limited number of fonts. But for this activity, let's use this big scroll bar and let's go down and choose Century Schoolbook. That looks like a nice font. I like that one. Let's click on that. And now Special Items is written in Century Schoolbook instead of Calibri. And the last thing let's do to make this look really cool when we're hanging up our garage sale flyer is let's change the color of these two words. Since these two words are highlighted and selected, the computer will change whatever I want on those two words. Here is the color choices. Right here is that tool. And again, just like I said, there's a little tiny down arrow. If you click on that little baby arrow, look at all the choices you have. Let's come down to a standard color and let's use blue. Oh, let's use dark blue. How about that? Yeah, that looks cool. So I'm going to click on dark blue. Now I want to see just what this looks like. So I'm going to click away from the word special items. I can click down here, whatever. My point is I'm clicking away so that highlighting goes away. And now you can see that our list title is the right size, it's the right color, the font. Now that we're done formatting the words in the title of our list, you can put this video on pause if you want to and try formatting some of the other words on our piece of paper, like the words Big Garage Sale or Westerville, Ohio. All you have to do is highlight the words that you want to format and come up and use those tools and see if you can change the color or change the number of the size of font or change the font's name. When you're finished playing with the title, you can go ahead and turn the video back on and we'll go on to the next part. In part 4, we're going to talk about working with graphics or working with pictures. So first we need to have a place to put our picture. So go ahead and click your cursor under the word car on your list. That's the last thing we typed. And then tap enter a few times just to get to a nice clean area on your paper where we can put a picture. Then near the top, you're going to see an Insert tab. This is where you can insert pictures saved on either your computer or saved from an online search of pictures. So let's search for a picture. So let's click on Online Pictures and choose Bing as our search engine. Okay, I'm going to do that on my paper. So I'm going to come up here to the Insert tab, tap on Insert, and instead of choosing a picture from my computer, I'm going to search for online picture. So I'm going to tap on online and I'm going to choose Bing as my search. Now, instead of looking through these piles of pictures, I want a specific thing. Since we're going to sell a car in our garage sale, one kind of car I like is an MG. So let's go ahead and type in the letters MG and hit enter key on your keyboard and let's take a look for some MG pictures. And as you see, I'm going to move my paper over here a little bit, there. As you can see, there's lots and lots of pictures. I can scroll down here and scroll and scroll and scroll, all these different MG pictures. So what I would like you to do is just look at the first couple rows and choose your favorite picture and go ahead and click on it. Once you clicked on it, you can see it has a blue frame. Then go down and you're going to have to use, on this computer, I have to use this big scroll button, this big scroller, to come down here to see the insert button so that it will insert the picture on my paper. So if you need to use this big, tall scrolling bar, you can. This is the scrolling bar that I'm just looking at the pictures, but this is the scrolling bar that's letting me get to the insert button. Once you see that, you can go ahead and tap on insert and they will put that picture on our paper for us. Now, let's talk about that for a second. So, remember when I told you free online Word will not let you move pictures around on a paper very freely? The purchased version has a thing called wrap text, and it lets you just smoothly put the picture anywhere you want. Here, the wrap text does not let you do that, and when I try to move my picture around, it doesn't move around very well. I'm grabbing the picture with my mouse and holding my mouse down and trying to move it a little bit, and it's just not working very well. It's not moving. But one thing we can do is we can go ahead and change the photo size a little bit and do a little editing on that photo. So I'm going to go back to my piece of paper and see these little white dots. Those are the editing dots. Now, if you accidentally clicked away from your picture, those editing dots went away. But no problem. If you click on the middle of your picture, the editing dots will come back. So one thing you can do is you can make the picture smaller by grabbing a hold of one of the four corners. It doesn't matter which corner. I'm going to use this one because it's nice and easy. See how I'm now at just a double-headed arrow? I'm going to hold my mouse down and I'm going to drag toward the center of the picture, and you can see that the picture is in fact getting smaller. I can do it again and make it even smaller. If I wanted to make the picture bigger, of course, I would grab this and I would pull it away from the picture and make it bigger. But now I'm making it smaller. The buttons that that are white on the top and bottom, they stretch the picture. They do the same thing. If I go right on top of that button and I pull it down, it distorts my picture and makes it taller. If you use the buttons on the two sides, it stretches the picture. So you can see again, it distorts the picture and it makes it longer. So I always like to use the corner buttons because the corner buttons make the picture larger and smaller proportionally the height to the width. The last thing you can try is using this little button right here, which is a little wheel button at the top. And if you grab that and hold your mouse down and drag your mouse, you can have your picture go sideways a little bit or tilted. So there are lots of things that lots of changes you can make with with these little dots. The last thing is to investigate some styles. You can also do a little bit of styling with this picture. If you tap on the word picture up here at the top, I want to do something with my picture, so I'm going to tap on the word picture. And now, let me move this down just a little bit there. You can see some picture styles right here. And remember, I told you the little tiny arrow, little down arrow gives you more choices. So I'm going to tap on that and I see lots of choices. Black frame around my picture if I want, or I can choose to do a simple frame, a metal frame. If I want to look at the more choices, I might be able to do like a metal oval frame. Lots of different things, and I can still make that bigger or smaller. And I can still twirl the picture around however I like it. The thing you can't do that's a disadvantage is this wrap text. Normally in the purchased word, you can say like in front of the text and you can move this picture around, but it really doesn't do that in the free version of Microsoft Word. So I'm going to let you take a little time and play with some of the styles on your picture. You can put this video on pause, and then when you're done, we'll go on to the next part 5 and we'll talk about a new topic. In part 5, we're going to talk about saving your documents and also how to open a document if it's already been saved. So let's first of all take a look at those 9 little white boxes in the top left of your paper. I want you to click on those boxes, and this time we're going to choose OneDrive. So let me show you right here. Here's your paper. Right up here are those 9 little white boxes, and instead of choosing Word like we did before to get a new piece of paper, we want to look inside our OneDrive where the software is saving all of our papers. So now, this is where you can see inside the space where Microsoft is saving your papers. You can see new right here. If I tapped on this little down arrow next to new, I could make a new folder in my OneDrive, and I might call it family pictures, and I could put family pictures in there. I might make another folder of work documents, another one for my book club, lots of different folders, and I can put documents in there and keep myself organized. Or I can actually make a new document as well right here. The upload word next to that is a little down arrow. And if I have a paper that someone gave me on a flash drive or maybe on my computer already, and I want to upload it to OneDrive so that I can keep it in my OneDrive, so anywhere I go, I can use that paper, I could click on upload and either choose a file, a specific file, or I could even upload a whole folder full of things and it'll save it on my OneDrive so that any computer that I sit down on the internet and log into my account, like when I log into my Hotmail account, I can see all the things in my OneDrive and I could work on them whether I'm at work or at my friend's house or at home. So right now, in your OneDrive, you should see something called the practice paper. And I know you might have some other things in there that you didn't realize you had in your OneDrive. But right now, let's find the practice paper. If you put your mouse over the word practice paper, you're going to see that a little circle appears, and you can put a check mark next to that. When you do that, let me go back to my PowerPoint screen. When you do that, there are new options on the top of that paper or on the top of that screen. You can open the document that you put the check mark next to so that you can look at the document or do some typing on it. You could share that document with your friends. If you click on share, the computer will create a link to that document and you can email a friend and say, hey, can you take a look at this document and see what you think of that? So you can share, turn on and off this sharing option. You can download the document so it's on your computer. Perhaps you want to take that document and put it on a flash drive and give it to someone or carry it somewhere. You can do that with this download button. You can delete the document if you want to. Maybe you just didn't like it and you want to just start from scratch. You can move that document from one folder to another to keep yourself organized. You can make a copy of that document to put in another folder instead of just moving it. You can copy it, then you'll have 2 copies. You can rename that document so that it has a better name. Maybe you didn't like the way you named it before. You can embed that document into a website, or you can look at the version history and see the other people that have been editing it because you shared it with someone and see all the edits that have been done. So right now, we're just going to open that document. So go ahead and tap on open. I'm going to do that right here. I'm going to put a check mark and I'm going to tap on open. And when you tap on open, you get 2 choices. You can either open this in Word Online, which is the free version of Word, and that's the version that you and I have been talking about during this class, or you can open it in Word if you have Word installed on your computer. Since we're not talking about the paid version of Word today, we're talking about the free online version, I'm going to choose Open in Word Online, and sure enough, here comes my document again so that I can do more editing or share it, change it, do whatever I want to do. The next thing we're going to talk about, since it's open, is we're going to talk about printing your documents. Once it's open, then you can go to the File tab, and let me do that with you. I'm going to tap on the File tab, and I see some choices. I can close this window right here, this screen, and I can click on this little arrow and take myself back to my paper. I can make a new document. I can open an existing document, which is what we're doing, right? What we just did a second ago. We can go to Save As, which is very important because, like I said, that lets you download a document to your downloads folder, and we're going to talk about that. Or you can print the document to a printer. You can send it to a printer that's hooked to your computer. Or you can, again, share that document with someone else by giving them a link to that. We're going to go ahead and go to Save As. And here you can see, let me move this over just a little bit. Here you can see the choices for Save As. And if you want to put that document on a flash drive or put it on your computer and do something else with it, this is the one you would use. It's called Download a Copy to Your Computer. All right. So when you download a copy to your computer, you can then have it in your downloads folder and you can put it on a flash drive. Maybe you want to carry that to a printing service and have it printed. Maybe you want to give it to your friend and have her look at it or him look at it and see if he likes it. Maybe it's your resume. You want to have someone check it. But it will always be in your OneDrive until you delete it. It will just make a copy on that downloads folder that you can put on your flash drive. Remember, though, if you try to open that without saying opening online, then it won't open if you don't have Word installed on your computer. So the last page of your handout talks about getting that free Outlook email account. And again, if you look on the paper, if you already have Outlook email or if you already have Hotmail email, you can use all these things that we did today for free already. If you don't, look on your last page and you can make yourself a free Outlook account that you can do all the things that we did in this class. So you've been watching me on video all this time, and now it's time to plan to get together. You can ask me questions, we can practice some of the skills that I went over on this video, and share any tips or tricks that you learned too. Our meeting will be live virtual connection using Zoom. Here is my email address. I'd like you to email me some open dates and times from your personal calendar so we can work together to plan a meeting. Then I'll send you a Zoom link that you can use to attend this virtual meeting with me. Also, before the meeting, make sure that your computer's camera and mic are working so that we can see each other during the meeting. I just want to remind you that there's lots of fun things that you can do with this software. Don't forget that up here are lots of things you can do with those words. You might take this word and bold it. You might change its size to real big. You might want to change its color. Lots of different color options. You might want to italicize it or underline it. You can even pick different words and do different things with those. All on your own. You know how to use these tools now, how to change the font name, how to change the size. You know how to change the color. Just choose the word that you want and you can change the different colors. Italicize, underline, bold. Everything you want to do is right here on your the top of your ribbon. And don't forget over here, we talked about this is where you do the bullets and the numbering. If I want to make a numbered list instead of a bulleted list, here are my justifications. So you have lots of things that you learned how to do in just this small area right here. Okay, so that concludes this video. I hope you're able to use Word software now, and I look forward to taking some time and talking to you live at a virtual meeting. Take care and have a good day.